Well, we showed you the scene in Glasgow a little earlier on. Jim Murphy, as you can see there, the Scottish Labour leader, is going to outline the Labour's election campaign launched there. Our own James Matthews is standing very close by. James.
The polls are so tight across the UK that the outcome here in Scotland can determine the governance of the whole of the United Kingdom. And look, here in Scotland, people want change. Scotland needs a pay rise in the same way that people across the UK need a pay rise. And to do that, we've got to get rid of David Cameron. There's only one party that's big enough and strong enough to get rid of David Cameron and to end 5 years of miserable Tory austerity where families are £1,600 worse off and where there are so many tens of thousands of people on 0 hours contracts and so many hundreds of thousands of people having to feed their children at food banks. Think of how rich our country is. How can it be right that so many families are relying on charity to put food in their tummies? That's utterly unacceptable. And what we saw last night in the debate, or the near debate, was a Prime Minister who didn't even know how many people were relying on food banks, who admitted they couldn't live on a 0 hours contracts. But you know, the important thing is he's done nothing about it. Food banks are the biggest growth industry in our country. It's wrong that someone goes out to work, they set the alarm clock in the morning, they get their kids to school, they go to work and they take a break at lunchtime to go to a food bank so they can feed their kids at home when they get home after work, and they're doing it through charity, not through their wages. Our country needs an £8 national minimum wage, our country needs a living wage, our country needs to end the 5 years of this Tory austerity, our country needs the abolition of the bedroom tax. Our country needs an end to David Cameron. Our country needs the election of a Labour government. Only Labour's big enough and strong enough to beat David Cameron. So let's use the next 6 weeks to highlight the difference between Labour and the Tories. People say politics changes nothing. Well, think about the last 5 years. People who have went to work who are worse off. This is the first time since the 1930s that we get to the end of a parliament where people are poorer than they were at the start of the parliament. And David Cameron and his millionaire chums don't care. Like, this is a 0 hours Prime Minister whose time has run out. So let's go out and work hard. Let's be confident, let's be patriotic, let's be determined, let's be winners. Let's consign David Cameron and his austerity to the kind of dustbin of history. Let's be successful, let's be confident, let's go out and win. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, we seem to have problems with the line, but just as Jim Murphy appeared to be finishing that speech, we'll keep a close eye on what's happening, though, in Glasgow at that event, and we'll be talking to our correspondent James Matthews about it very shortly.